Every year, I facilitate a vision board workshop through my organization, the Fierce Woman Foundation. This year is no different. On Sunday, January 24th, I will be hosting my third vision board workshop in Kew Gardens, Queens at Katarina's Bar and Grill. Now, as I've been promoting the workshop across my social media networks, I've had a lot of women reach out to me either because they can't attend on that day or they live out of state and just can't make it up to New York for that weekend. So for that purpose, I decided to create this video so that I could provide just an overview as to what a vision board is and how you can use that to stay focused and help you achieve your goals. Secondly, I'm also going to provide a brief tutorial as to how you can start creating your vision board, because at the end of the day, it really is more than just gluing pictures onto a board. You really want to have clear, defined, and measurable goals that are realistic, and maybe not, it may be unrealistic. Maybe you want, something that's in your mind impossible. But if you learn to write it down on paper and come up with a plan as how to achieve it, the impossible becomes possible simply by doing that. A lot of people host vision board workshops, throughout the year. And the reason for that is because for the past few years, they have become very popular, primarily because they work. And the reason they work so well is that they help to keep you focused on your goals. Creating a sacred space that displays what you want actually does bring it to life, because what we focus on expands. Personally, I've been using vision boards since 2011, and since then have seen so many great things come to life for me. Everything that I've put on my vision board has become my reality. I've manifested my greatest desires by remaining focused and committed, and I want to help others do the same, which is why I do this vision board workshop every year. I realize that as women, a lot of people depend on us. And we tend to give so much of ourselves to others that sometimes we forget to give back to ourselves. And giving back to ourselves really is very important, because if you don't give to yourself, eventually you're not going to have anything to give to others. And, many of us, because we're so focused on other people, we live day to day without really giving much thought to our own dreams and desires. And life, it seems to get in the way sometimes, between shuffling kids back and forth to school activities, whether it's that you're a wife or you're taking care of home or handling business at the office. Many women just don't pay attention to their passions. And so when we take the time to sit down and actually write our goals down and create a plan to achieve them, then our dreams and our passions become that more tangible. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the theme for this year is live on purpose. And what I mean by that is that we have to be intentional with our lives. It is our responsibility to discover our God-given gifts and learn how to use them so that we can live our best life possible. The power of intention is real, and what you focus on is what you call into your reality. For those of you who don't know what a vision board is, if you don't know how they work or the benefits that they provide, let me just say to you that vision boards help to clarify, and they help you to concentrate and maintain focus on a specific life goal. And in my vision workshops, what I do is I help women identify what their visions are, what their dreams are, what their goals are. And what we do is we set our intentions for the year. And the best way to start doing that is by implementing these 5 simple steps. So the first one that I'm going to encourage you to do is to take some time for yourself. If you can allot 1 hour to work on writing and identifying your goals and then coming up with the plan, that is really key. If you don't have an hour to spare, then try, 30 minutes or try 10 and just work through it until you've been able to identify, all of your goals. And to start, because we don't want to make this too overwhelming, what I usually tell the women is to set 3 goals for the year: one personal, one business, and one creative. Now, if they're all the same, and they kind of overlap each other, that's okay. But the key is to try to tap into the different areas of your life. So if you want to get to the next level, within your career, that's your career, professional, business goal. For your personal goal, if your desire is to take a family vacation that year, then that would be your personal goal. Another creative goal really should just be something for yourself, something that taps into the creative being that resides within you. And sometimes when you tap into that component, that's when you discover what your real purpose is, because that creative part of you is really what you enjoy to do. It's what you love. And if you can discover what that is, I guarantee you that you can figure out a way how to profit from that. And it's like they say, when you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And I am a real firm believer of that. So now, once you've identified your 3 goals, I then encourage you to break each of those goals down into smaller goals. And the reason that I say this is that sometimes that main goal, that ultimate goal, sometimes it just seems too big for us. And then in our minds, we tend to tell ourselves that it's unattainable because we don't realize at that moment the steps necessary that we have to take in order to get us there. So when you break each goal down into smaller goals, then the journey to that ultimate goal becomes a little bit easier, and then the steps become clearer. And so now you have a roadmap that is going to get you to where you ultimately want to be. Now, step 3, once you've identified your goals and once you've broken them down into smaller goals, is to take those smaller goals and identify the steps that you have to complete to achieve that goal. So if your ultimate goal is to go back to school and you want to earn a bachelor's degree, right? You would break that goal down into the steps necessary to reach that. And so you would need to figure out a budget, how you're going to pay for it, what you want to major in, what classes you would have to take, what prerequisites are required, if any. So you break all of that down, and then you take all of those steps and break those down. So for example, if you want to major in law, right? You've already decided now that your major is law. Now, what steps do you have to take now to get you into the school? You have to find out what is required for that law program. So if there are prerequisites, identify what those prerequisites are. Maybe you went to school, 5 years ago, and you've completed some of the prerequisites to get you into that major. You can cross those things off your list, and then you just focus on the areas where you're lacking. And so this is what you do for each of those smaller goals. You identify the steps in that process that is going to help you get to that goal. Step number 4, once you've identified the steps for those goals, now you have to identify potential roadblocks or obstacles. So one obstacle, if you're trying to go back to school, may be financial. Maybe right now you don't have the disposable income, to pay for school. So that can be an obstacle. That can be something that prevents you from registering, for the upcoming semester. But then you come up with solutions, So if right now you don't have in your bank account XYZ amount of dollars, to pay for the semester, then what other options are available to you? Are you available for financial aid? Can you take out a student loan? So then you start to identify the roadblocks and then start developing, potential solutions for that, so that when you encounter an obstacle or a roadblock, you have the necessary tools to overcome it and to kind of knock that roadblock out of the way. You should never let an obstacle or a roadblock stop you from getting to where you want to go. Because I have news for you. The closer you get to your dream, the more you want something, the more obstacles and roadblocks are going to present themselves. And they present themselves because it's a test to see how much you really want something. Now, a person who is not focused or determined will let that roadblock keep them from where they want to go. But someone who is focused and committed will figure out a way to get there regardless of what presents themselves. And that's what you want to do. That's how you create your roadmap to success. And, and lastly, like I said, you have to create solutions to overcome these obstacles. So if you create a roadmap to your goals, every time something presents itself that seems like you can't push through, you will be able to, because you already have your plan in place. And so once you've identified your goals, once you've broken them down into smaller steps, once you've identified the obstacles and you've identified, potential solutions, this is now the fun part. This is where you kind of get out, your poster board, you get out your magazines, your glue, your glitter, whatever it is that you want to make your vision board just pop. And you place those images on that vision board. You place positive words, you place affirmations, you place anything on that board that you're going to need to help keep you focused and committed on your dream, on your goal, on whatever it is that you have set for yourself for this year. And place that vision board somewhere where you can see it every single day. Personally, I place mine in my bedroom so that every morning when I wake up, it's the first thing that I see. And every night before I go to bed is the last thing that I see as I shut my eyes. Because you keep doing these exercises and they will get embedded into your psyche. And what happens then is that it becomes a part of you. And then you become to believe that that thing you want, you already have. And that's what you have to do. You have to believe that you have it even before it has come to pass. Because eventually what's going to happen is that your reality is going to catch up with your vision.